What's up, guys? This will be Fixing NA episode 2. Today we're going to talk about Herald swaps. I think that it's one of the biggest issues that NA has is people just in general overcommitting for Herald. Either when they have a lead or when they're at a disadvantage, they'll overcommit and they'll end up in fights that they shouldn't be in and lose a lot of gold in the map and really like flip the game. And I think that in general, there's just an over prioritization on Herald that's prevalent within the LCS. So what I've done here is I've compiled 3 games going as far back as a month ago. Where I think that the team ended up either throwing at Herald or there was like a really bad Herald situation that was played out. We even have game 4 of TSM versus TL today. So a lot of stuff to talk about with these Herald situations. And the last thing I actually have here is a game between Rogue and Mad Lions that I watched in LEC that I think actually had a really good Herald rotation, so we can compare it to something and I can show an example of, hey, when it's good to actually move for Herald. In general, I think that when an enemy team starts Herald, there should be like a distinct trade-off for it. If we could talk a little bit conceptually about how Herald plays normally work, a lot of the time it's dependent on your bot lane wave state, right? So what will end up happening is one team will have pressure. So let's say EG is the team that is doing Herald here. Normally what you would want to do is you want to shove in your bot lane wave and then start the Herald while the wave is shoved in, so the enemy AD carry is forced to actually catch the wave under turret. And then while you shove in that wave, what you want to be doing is then moving your support. Like your support can leave a little bit early depending on the situation, but you want to be moving your AD and your support up the river. And what this ends up doing is it ends up pressuring the enemy team that now they're on a timer. If you are moving, like we're doing this from the side of EG, the side of TL would have to be like, hey guys, the support has first move, we have to give up this Herald here. And then the enemy AD, so in this case Tactical, will be forced to catch the wave. And while he's catching the wave, essentially instead of like harassing them under turret, you use that timer to move up the river and secure the Herald for your team. You secure the Herald and then you come back and you catch that same wave, that next wave, so you don't end up losing anything for moving to the Herald. Now, a lot of times we see teams really overcommit and sacrifice a lot for the Herald. So there's times where it's okay to get a Herald. If the enemy AD is moving too early, like the timers are desynced and the enemy AD is moving too early, what ends up happening is there's going to be free waves to catch bot lane. So what you can do is, as an AD carry, you can say, hey, f the Herald. And I know this is something that LS talks about a lot. We've discussed it on Face Check before. You can say, hey, f the Herald, I'm going to take 2 waves and like a plate or something, and that's going to be worth more gold than the Herald's going to guarantee, because Herald only guarantees 2 plates really in any given situation. So one of the issues that we have is that teams are essentially opting into Herald fights when they don't necessarily have an advantage, and it's really like screwing teams over and causing them to lose their gold leads. So here's the game between TL and EG where I think that there was a really bad Herald play from TL. If you just want to look at game state, this was actually the game where Impact died like 150 times in lane. Right now he's at 0-4. He was ganked over and over again by Santorin, then Core JJ even ran up there and they just killed this guy over and over again. Recently, like the most recent play that just happened in this game, which I guess I can like show you briefly, was the Galio Camille dive on top of the Gnar. So Impact is super far out of the game. So we'll go back, and this is relevant because the ultimates are still down since then. So here we are, we're gonna play it.
Only one plate up there.
I'm gonna mute. And yeah, so they use their Camille Galio ult, and they're really snowballing this Camille, which makes a lot of sense. When you're playing Camille Galio, you essentially need your Camille to be strong in the game to be able to make effective use of the combo. So really good. They do this dive. They're super far ahead. If I let the mouse sink in for a second, we can just look at the game state. They're up around 2k gold at 10 minutes, 5-1 in kills. They're essentially like chilling when it comes to what's happening in the game. So now we see the dreaded Herald overcommit. So this is one of the most egregious ones, right? Because there's multiple reasons you shouldn't fight. Like there's times where if the enemy team is like forcing a 5v5, you can be like, hey, I want to fight the 5v5 because we're stronger. But if you look at the ults, because of that top dive, Galio doesn't have ult, Camille doesn't have ult, and that is like the crux of your team comp. When you're playing a Camille Galio comp, these ultis synergize well together, which is why you see the champions pick so much. In this situation, if we go back a little bit, you could easily have Tactical stay bot here. The wave is pushed in, the next wave is coming, he even has part of the wave right here, right? Like, look, there's even a couple minions that are moving towards the enemy turret here. You could easily have Tactical stay bot, catch this next wave while Definitely's moving, and then you can just start hitting plates. And this isn't even something where you actually have the option. There are times where you have to decide, hey, are we going to fight the Herald, or are we going to fight bot, or are we going to just like take the free gold bot? Are we going to take the plate and the waves bot? That's definitely a situation that does happen. But in this situation, you can't ever fight, man. Like, the enemy team has a Yone, which is obviously going to be really useful in team fights. Like, if they land a combo, they have a Gnar that's about to go mega. Like, this is just a situation where you have to go with the Herald. But if you watch what TL does here, Tactical runs all the way across the map, and TL is just forcing this 5v5 versus a Mega Gnar. Like, the Gnar is about to go mega. Look at his rage, and Jizuke has ulti up too, and you don't even have your Galio and Camille up. You could have easily your ulti's up. You could have easily just shoved in this bot wave. Tactical could have got this wave. He could have got probably 2 plates in this situation, and the enemy team gets Herald. That's fine. You don't want to fight really like 5v5s yet with your team comp, and especially when you don't have Galio ult, your team comp is way weaker. So you can watch what TL does here. They feel like they want to fight this. They're like, oh man, we're winning, we're ahead. We don't want to give up the Herald because we're currently ahead in the game. You know, we're stronger. Let's fight. In reality, they're not stronger for this fight. I mean, Yone has ult. Mega Gnar is right here. Santorin and Jensen have no way to even get past this Gnar. They walk in. They're forcing the fight. Okay, Gnar gets a good 2-man ult into 2-man Yasuo ult. Oh my god, we just threw the entire game. And now our whole Galio team comp is boom. So we just gave away 3 kills for no reason. Opting into a fight that we didn't need to fight, right? Like, we could have easily just taken the bot wave here for a TL. We could have easily taken plates. Maybe you get 1, maybe you get 2, whatever. And you just let the enemy team swap for this Herald. You let them do their thing. Obviously, you want to match at some point. You don't want to just like leave your Camille up there and let kha'zix get a bunch of free plates with the Herald. Like, you're going to have to match it. But you can easily take the waves, get the push, and then recall, and then go top and match the enemy AD if he decides to stay top and they decide to use the Herald there. So that's fight number 1. That's like the first situation where I think that a team misused Herald. There's obviously multiple ones of these. I just picked out ones that stood out in my mind. The next one is EG versus TSM. Now, this is one where EG actually gets the result they want, but it's another situation where I feel like they opted into a Herald fight that was a flip that they didn't necessarily need to opt into. So here we go.
Way too delayed.
We'll play it here. We'll mute once again. Obviously, we're just looking at the macro and we don't want to be distracted by the casting of the game because game state and stuff isn't super important right now. We just want to look at the decision. So here, once again, you have TSM going for the Herald. This is a situation where you see that Lost is already moving up the river and definitely is sitting bot. So instead of just staying bot here, EG decides like, hey, we need to fight this. This is even worse, right? Like, especially once you lose this chunk. Ignar walks in too early because he wants to get vision on the Herald. He loses his flash. He loses his flash. He gets chunked out really hard. And at this point especially, man, like, look at this bot wave. Also, like, a champion like Xayah with W hits turret pretty fast, like has an attack speed steroid. So this is another situation where I feel like you let them move, you let them do whatever they want. If they want this Herald, that's fine. And you leave your AD carry bot, you take this wave, you hit the turret for plates. We'll see what ends up happening here. I mean, Ignar is completely out of the fight. He's like 100 life. Spiga super low randomly. Jizuke uses W, doesn't get it off. I mean, they're trying to like walk through this choke versus gravity field. I mean, dude, just give it up. It's fine. It's fine. Just give it up, guys. Now, for some godforsaken reason, TSM decides to like overchase. They don't really know how they want to fight this. They overcommit onto Impact. Impact's able to flash before the sign Q goes off. This is actually Spica's fault. Spica doesn't let the CC channel. Like, this should have been good for TSM, right? Like, EG fucked up by even taking this fight. But Spica ends up canceling the sleep before Huni is able to channel the Q. So if they just play for Huni's stun, Impact will die for free. And there's no way that this team of EG should be able to fight this. I mean, Rel has no flash RW. Jizuke is super low before the fight. Like, their Aatrox is going to insta-die. It's a really bad time for EG to opt into this fight. Now, EG ends up like getting a 1-for-1 here, but they still lose Herald. And they could have got so much more if they just decided to keep their AD carry bot and play for the bot waves and the turret plates here. Definitely. Okay, that was the only one where it's like even okay. The other ones are really drastic. Really catastrophic losses. But yeah, here's the one from today. So this was from today's game, TSM versus TL game 4. If you don't know about how this game really went, TL went for a 4-man dive topside onto Huni, and it got turned around, and 3 people ended up dying for it. So it was a really advantaged state for TSM. Also, TSM is completely fine. Scaling, especially in 5v5s later on. They have the Xayah, they have the Seraphine. They're not on a time where Seraphine is particularly strong in the game, doesn't have Moonstone yet, or anything like that. And yeah, we can see what ends up happening here. So this is a situation where TSM should 100% be willing to give up the Herald. So TSM actually go and they start the Herald. Now, one thing that they should be considering right now is the fact that Sword Art is only level 5. Sword Art's level 5 and the enemy Leona is level 6. Oh no, that is pretty impactful, man. Nautilus without depth charge compared to Nautilus with depth charge is completely different champions, right? Like the amount of utility that they're going to provide and the amount of CC that the Nautilus is going to be able to provide is drastically different. So here you can see TSM moving for the Herald, but they're actually down a level on their support. It's really big. So we see they go and they start the Herald, right? They see Leona right now, so now they have to know, like, hey, Leona is level 6 and we're only level 5. Now, obviously, they feel like they're stronger right now in fights because they just won, like, a previous dive situation, but they're not really identifying the value of their comp. Once again, you see that Tactical is moving first, and TSM has the option to just leave. They know that Core JJ is level 6 and their support Sword Art's only level 5. They know that Tactical is moving first instead of Lost. Like, Tactical is able to shove in the wave and move. There's absolutely no reason for TSM to fight this. Like, at this point, Lost can just go back bot. The wave is right here. Right, guys? The wave is right here. I'll circle it for you. The wave is right here. It's gonna crash. Like, these waves are gonna crash. The first person on this wave can push it in and get plates. If you look at what TSM does here, they end up saying, you know what? We want to fight this 5v5 while being a level down our support. One of our champions doesn't have ulti. The other thing that I haven't even mentioned yet is that Alfari is about to go Meganar. So, like, we've seen the same situation where people have fought into Meganar twice now, where they're just not respecting the champion's strengths, right? Like, you obviously want to wait out this champion's Narbar. So just imagine, Tactical's dragged all the way across the map. TSM should be playing to keep them here. Like, you can play this situation in a way where you're annoying, you don't let them get the Herald for free, you safely poke, you throw axes over the wall, Seraphine throws her Q, you don't let them walk through chokes for free, and you make them really, like, sweat for this objective. Like, that's the next level of trying to play these situations out, where you're not only just getting the wave for free and trading it directly for the Herald, you're also, like, making them sweat on the Herald and throwing abilities at them, potentially chunking them out and, you know, making them lose life, making them lose a lot of tempo, because you know that you're getting something for free on the other side of the map. Like, that's the next level, but we don't even do that, man. Instead, oh no, we're opting into the 5v5. We've all walked into River now. We've all walked into River, and our support is down a level. Guys, our support is down a level, and the Nar's about to hit level 6. Please leave. Look at these waves. Look at the wave bot. Look at the wave bot. It's just there. Is that the, is this the next wave? Hold on. Let me see. I forget how long this was. No, this is the wave. This is the wave that we circled earlier. But yeah, so the wave would have crashed at, let me see. The wave would have crashed at 9:35. So at 9:35, the Xayah could be on the wave bot and be pressuring the wave. So at this point, TL would not have been able to start the Herald yet. You know, TSM can still fuck with them. They can still throw abilities through chokes. They can still poke at them. They can potentially even look for, I mean, if they want to be super aggressive and they see somebody walk through a really messed up position, they can potentially look for a catch even 4v5. I mean, you can play the situation out however you want. The most important thing is that for 20 seconds now, your support or your AD carry could have just been pushing bot wave. He would have cleared this wave, he would have cleared the next wave, and he would be on the turret. But instead, we're leashing the Herald for them, guys. And now we're engaging. Oh no, we're engaging a fight. Level 5 Nautilus versus level 6. Supports are so important to get level 6 on. Think about, like, all supports when they hit level 6. Rel ult, man. Nautilus ult. The only one that sucks at level 6 is pretty much, like, Thresh is not the best at level 6. Doesn't get as much of a spike. But then the other one would be, like, Tahm Kench. Like, you don't really give a fuck if Tahm Kench is level 6. But all these supports, man, Leona at level 6 compared to Nautilus at level 6. You know, Rel at level 6, like, I mean, Leona, like, all these champions are just so fucking good. Their ultimates are so fucking good in a team fight. And the fact that they're opting into this fight and they see the Mega Gnar right here, right? Like, this is their pink ward. They see a Gnar transforming into Mega and they're just fighting a direct 5v5 all down 1k. It makes no sense. Oh my god, and Alfari kills everyone. Oh my god. He ults 2 people into the wall, 3 people into the wall, actually. It's a 3-for-1 and they lose Herald. For what? Why are we here? Think about, it's literally a full minute, man. You could have potentially got 3 plates and 3 waves bot. Like, you could have got 3 plates and 3 waves bot for this Herald situation. But instead, we lost the entire game. And yeah, I mean, I think that this is one of the issues that's been plaguing NA. People have this mentality of like, they don't want to give up the Herald. You know, we don't want to give up anything, but it's a trade. We're playing the map way too small. It's one of the prevalent ideas is that we play the map way too small. There's too much of like collapsing on mid waves to get position before like objectives. There's too much everyone walking to Herald. There's too much everyone looking at each other when they're on dragons. Like overall, we need to play the map way wider, you know, trade things. I was watching a game today on stream that people from my VOD review will remember where we watched an example of TES control the Drake. They had full control of the Drake and they were controlling chokes and everything, and they missed a crucial ability. They tried to go for like a Nautilus hook into ult. They missed it, and immediately they all recognized, hey, let's give up this Drake, and they played to the other side of the map. You know what? I might even, you know, we're doing this shit live. Fuck it. I'm going to go here. We're going to find the game. I'm going to show you exactly the mentality difference that I want to like explain here because I think it's so important. So here's the situation. TS has control of the Drake. It's only Drake number 2, right? It's only Drake number 2. So watch how TS plays it. They're continually fighting for this mid wave. They're going to do one more mid wave here because they weren't able to control the area, and they want to fight on their pink wards. They're trying to control the vision. They walk back. They clear the wave. They walk back. Try to clear the enemy vision. Obviously, they walk too far forward here. They clear the enemy pink wards. Enemy drops another ward, and they get Zhuo into this bush, right? Xiaohu starts face checking. Now, obviously, TS should win the fight here, right? Like, Zhuo should be able to hook Xiaohu, and then you combo that into, like, Orianna, old guy can't move, just dead. Just dead motherfucker on the screen right here. They miss it. You miss the hook, bro. Sometimes you just miss. Like, it just happens. But overall, watch their response. And they know they wasted ult. At this point, they know they don't win the fight. So look at how they instantly change their mindset. They go from hard controlling this area to pushing the wave, and then they trade. And you know what? Small objectives, guys. Small objectives. What did they take here? They give up the enemy drag. They take crab, enemy rates, and red. That was what they trade for it. They know that they're going to lose the fight, so they opt into playing the map wide. We can't win this situation anymore. What can we get on the other side of the map? They don't give up mid turret. They don't play the map too wide. They take the entire enemy top side. Actually, Carson gets golems here as well. He takes the whole enemy top side and the crab, and they trade that for Drake number 2, which at this point, Drake number 2 is not going to have a big impact. Guess what? TS loses this game anyway, but I thought this was a good example of like how teams are willing to like give up more and trade things on the other side of the map, which is essentially the same concept that I'm trying to talk about here when I'm talking about Rift Heralds, right? Instead of all going to the Rift Herald, what can we get on the other side of the map? Waves, plates, like can we play the map wider? Can we potentially take camps on the enemy's bot side jungle? Can we make them sweat 4v5? What can we get that is guaranteed advantages compared to like these types of situations that essentially are like mechanic battles, and some of them are flips? I mean, some of these situations are worse than that, where like you're taking a really disadvantaged fight, but even at the best, like you don't need to fight constantly. Even teams that are known for fighting, like Chinese teams, are still willing to trade things off when they know they can't win a fight. All right, so what we're going to end this VOD review with, or I guess not VOD review, this episode of Fixing NA with, is a Herald situation that I thought was good. I'm going to go back. And this was a situation where Rogue was losing, and this is a time where like you can use Herald to get back into the game. So we're gonna go into this video, and this was a game that was going terrible for Rogue, right? Rogue was playing this Kalista Udyr comp, right? A team comp that is set up to like snowball around Drakes and like win bot side. Obviously, if you draft Kalista lanes, especially like Kalista Thresh and things like that, you want to be able to control the bot side of the map, snowball through Drake because Kalista doesn't scale as well as other champions, etc. And this game was a catastrophe. Rogue absolutely blew it. They took a fight bot lane where people randomly died. Inspired had one of his worst plays of the entire split. But the way that they adapted to the situation, they made use of the Herald swap, I think was good. Now, we talked about the most obvious time where you use Herald swap. Like, let's say you just have all 3 lanes winning, right? Like the most easy situation ever. You push in the bot wave, and then you like start the Herald on the other side of the map, and you slowly rotate your support and AD up so you can guarantee the Herald. And then once the enemy team gives you respect because you are moving first, you go back, you catch the wave, you lose nothing, and you gain the Herald, right? Like that's ideal. In this situation, you don't have the luxury of doing that. Hansama and Trimby are not able to actually push in the wave because they're losing, right? Like the enemy team made a play bot and they're losing. So what they end up doing is they recall at a time where the enemy team isn't expecting a recall. They recall and they walk top and they go for the Herald. So they overload topside to try to make a catch-up play. Herald spawns at 8 minutes. Inspired goes and invades the enemy red side. They know El Yoya is going to be bot. They rotate their Kalista up and boom, they're on Herald. So they're using Herald to try to get back in the game, and they're essentially lane swapping and trying to split the map. So they're saying, hey, you can have everything on the bot side of the map, and we're going to take everything on your top side of the map. And I think that this was a time where a team made a good Herald swap where they're able to actually get an advantage off it. So like right now you see they're down 1.5k gold. And this is a situation where they need to snowball, right? They're playing the Kalista comp into like into the Jhin. Like this is not going to be good if they go late game and they're even. They go into Larson, humanoid ults, forces Larson's flash and cleanse, and as you can see, Rogue, they swap, they go for the Herald, take the Herald, and now they're pressuring onto topside. And because they split the map, they're able to actually get an advantage. Now, obviously, you can criticize Armut. Armut should not be this far up, but essentially because Rogue were the ones that were first on the play, and they made a good Herald swap, Mad Lions was late to respond. And this just starts like with the first thing that happened, which is like Inspired being able to time like, hey, I'm invading their top side. Okay, I got the other guy's red buff. Can we swap here? And then Rogue actually going for the swap. So you can see that they're using the Herald to actually get back in the game by splitting the map and rotating the Kalista and Thresh early. And boom, they were up like as we saw, Mad Lions was up 1.4 like 1.5k or something like that. And it was 4-0. And now suddenly Kalista is getting solo turret gold, and now they're up they're up 300 gold. So that's almost a 2k gold swing right there based off a Herald swap that I thought was actually really good, and this was a decent approach. And macro concepts like this, I think, are what makes EU slightly better than NA right now. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. I mean, I kind of winged parts of it, got on a little bit of tangent, and yeah, just wanted to talk about some other concepts, you know, went on a little bit of a roll there. But hopefully you guys understand the overall concept that I was trying to demonstrate in this video. The over-committing on Herald that NA has been doing. I showed multiple games and multiple different situations where people were ignoring bot waves, ignoring plates, and instead over-prioritizing the Herald. And I think that if NA teams are more willing to sacrifice Heralds and actually play for the waves and plates and not, you know, opt into all these 5v5 fights around the Herald, I think our region will be better. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. That'll be episode 2 of Fixing NA, and I'll catch you next time for another episode. Peace, guys.